Today I want to start off with talking about the importance of the program director's position. And in doing so, first I want to take a look at the staffing phases that a martial arts school can go through. Okay? So let's just imagine that phase one, there's one person. All right? That is, there's plenty of us that have all started off. Mr. Arnett is with us this weekend, and he is in this phase. He is the only staff member at his school. He is the owner. He's the program director. He's the janitor. He's the instructor. He's the counselor when parents bring kids to him. He's going to be everything for that school. He's going to be answering the phone. He's going to be entering contracts. He's the administrative assistant. He's everything inside that school. Okay? That's the first phase. All of us usually start in that position. Now, if you're a staff member, you're being hired as into an already existing martial arts school. But a lot of martial arts schools start off with that as a gentleman or a lady that has a passion for the martial arts, that wants to start teaching. They have very little funds toward staffing, so they can't really afford to hire 2 or 3 people all at one time, full-time, to put the full systems in place. So they just start doing everything themselves. Okay? That's phase one. So in phase one, like I said, they are the instructor. They are the program director. They are everything. The reason that they can do this is they're only teaching a beginning level school. They're only teaching at most 3 classes a day. They're teaching one class of 5 to 7-year-olds, one class of 8 to 12-year-olds, and one class of adults. Because everybody in that school probably is a beginner, or with their performance-based curriculum, it's going to be in all ranked classes anyway. Okay? So, they have time to teach and be the instructor, and in between those 3 classes, they have plenty of time to do the program director's position. Okay? So they have time to do introductory lesson 1, introductory lesson 2, enrollment conference. They've taken people straight to black belt training from the enrollment conference. So then they're signing people up that went into the basic program, but their black belt training program got started immediately. So they're even setting upgrade conferences probably the next month later, because they did sign up 3 kids straight to black belt training in the first 6 weeks. So the other parents see these kids staying after class, and you have that program started so you can start upgrading almost immediately. So now, that would be phase one, let's say. Phase 2, the next position that this person's going to need is it becomes a 1.5 positions. This gentleman or lady, this phase 1 person, is going to need a front desk person or someone to help them answer the phones, someone to help them make outbound phone calls, someone to sell merchandise. They're going to need that type of administrative assistant probably before they need another instructor or another program director, someone to relieve them. They're still doing basically most everything. So now they need a part-time, 0.5, they need a part-time person to help them. And they can probably, over a couple months, financially now afford to find somebody to help them part-time, 4 hours, 5 hours a day. All right? Now what would be great is if this 0.5 person, let's say their main duties is probably admin. All right? But it would be great if we found someone that at least was willing to start learning martial arts or already had some martial arts experience. That way they can help us a little bit on the floor. So now, Mr. All-in-One here, he's teaching classes, but maybe between classes, maybe this admin person or this 0.5 person has been taught how to warm up the classes. And they do the warm-up while the head instructor or the owner now is talking to parents, maybe talking to the parent about an upgrade conference, or taking a break for a second and just holding the door open for parents and shaking their hands, right? Now, as these 3 classes start getting more full, and all of this depends upon the size of your classroom floor, right? If you have a 1,200 square foot school, naturally you're only going to be able to fit, let's say, 15 people in each class. So now as those classes start getting full, he has to open up more classes. So now he's having less and less time to do the 2-lesson trial program, the introductory lessons. He's having less and less time to do upgrade conferences. He has less and less time to make phone calls himself, right? So as that starts happening, he moves in maybe to phase 3. Okay? Then he finds, at this point, maybe he finds another part-time person. He trains a part-time instructor. So it becomes a point 2 model. So now he's got a part-time person doing this and helping with the admin and helping on the classroom floor, walking the lines, holding pads. When they're not doing that and the phone rings or whatever their duties are, they're kind of a floater. Well, now he finds a part-time person that he can train for one of these 2 positions to relieve him a little bit because things are getting great. Things are getting crowded. Things are getting busy. So he finds... And at that point, the owner decides what he wants to do. Does he want to be on the classroom floor, or does he want to be in the program director's office? That's total preference. That's total preference, and frankly, that's probably about who you find to fill one of these positions. If that owner happens to find an A+ martial artist that's got a lot of teaching experience, well, why try to retrain him all of a sudden for another position? Put him in the instructor position and the owner becomes the program director, right? Does that make sense? And maybe he can only afford to do that on a part-time basis, okay? Now he goes to a 2.5 model. At a 2.5, he's got a full-time instructor, a full-time program director, and a part-time admin / floor person, okay? That's 2.5. At this point, the school's making enough money for the owner to survive and meet his needs and live the lifestyle he wants. He's also providing a full-time opportunity for someone else to grow as a martial arts professional. And then the admin person, especially if they started training martial arts, which makes total sense, because you can meet a person that came for the admin job, but they fell in love with martial arts, and all of a sudden they become an instructor for you someday, right? I kind of think it's important that every person in the martial arts studio that's working for you trains in the martial arts, okay? That's not a requirement, but it would be a great thing. I mean, that's what we do. That's the passion. That's what we believe in, all right? So at this position, this would be the maximum level of a martial arts school. At this position, now, every one of these levels, the studio is grossing different amounts of revenue, but it's doing it over a period of time. At any moment, the owner may decide to stop. He don't want to go from one level to another. At point 5, he may find that, look, I live a great lifestyle. Everything's simple. My overhead is low. I enjoy teaching martial arts. I don't want to replace myself, right? I like the money, and life is easy. And he keeps it at this model. Chances are, I know school owners, they always want to go up to the next level. I think it has something to do with belt ranking or the next thing. We want to take it always up to another notch, right? So he's going to probably move on to these models. At this model 2.5, you can, again, depending on the square foot of your studio, you can facilitate 500, 600 people. Now, don't get me wrong. The 2.5 means that's the minimum amount of people that it takes to run. At 300 students, we've got enough money to hire a couple extra part-time instructors to make sure those classes are rocking, make sure we're walking the lines, make sure we're doing everything we need to do, get out and do even more marketing. Because at 300 students, you're going to lose 15 a month, 5%. So you need more help out there at marketing. This 1.5 guy, he only needs 150 students to make a great living for him and his staff, okay, because his overhead is so low. He only needs to sign up 8 to 10 people a month to maintain that 150. That's no stress whatsoever life right there. This guy decided to take it to another level. And it is a lot more money, but it's a lot more of everything. A lot more stress maybe, a lot more overhead, a lot more staffing needed to keep it going. It's a lot more, but it can deliver a lot more. It just depends upon what the owner wants. So there's 4 easy ways of looking at the different phases of staffing or business growth of a martial arts school from its very beginning, from its inception. One more level of this phases of business or staffing phases, and that would be simply duplicating. Duplicating which one of these positions that you like, which one of these levels of business that you chose to operate in. The next level would be duplicating these into the next location, the next location, the next location. All right? That's another importance about staff training is if everything is a system here and your staff is trained extremely well, now we can take the same model, the same systems, and all we have to do is teach them to different staff members and duplicate our efforts into multiple locations. So owners, young staff members that strive to be owners someday, imagine that you duplicated this 3, 4, 5 times in your career, all right? And then you get to the point, you're 55, you know, you want to do something different, and you've got such good, well-trained staff members here. You've done such a good job. You provided such a good opportunity. They've made a good living over the years. They're running the business. They're totally professional. Well, now they should have the ability to go to the bank, take the P&L and the balance sheet of the business for the past so many years, and now you sell your 5 schools to the top people in these 5 locations of staffing, and you use that money to retire. All right? That would be a great situation. Not only the money that the owner, of course, has put back and the owner has been invested over the years into whatever forms of investing he does, but all of a sudden, your 5 locations, you sell them off. Who better to sell them to than the well-trained staff members that you have that already decided they want to do this as an opportunity? And then you simply sell it to them. They have a small payment, but they walk into a business that already is fully furnished, has a student body, they're well-trained. That would be the next level, is duplication and then retirement, right? That would be a good dream for everyone, I think. The variable here becomes, doesn't matter if you only have 1 staff member, you. Doesn't matter if you've got those 2.5 important people and you've got 3 other awesome part-time people. Doesn't matter how much staffing you have. If they're not trained well and they can't deliver results, doesn't do you any good. I know plenty of martial arts schools that have 4 or 5 staff members, but none of them know what they're doing, and they're just spinning their wheels, and it's just this sense of frustration. So whether I'd rather have 1 person that is trained extremely well than to have 4 or 5 that don't know what they're doing, and it's always frustrating for them, it's frustrating for the owner. So the key thing here in this model of when to move from phase to phase is really 2 things. The size of your studio, because how big your classroom floor is determines on how many students we can service, which tells us how many staff we need, right? And then the quality of those staff members makes all the difference. Only moving from one of these levels to the other level when you have found the right staff and you've trained them the right way. And you're providing them the right opportunity. Okay? When I say providing them the right opportunity, you don't take a guy that has lots of talent and pay them next to nothing and expect them to be with you forever. Because we can all fall in love with the martial arts. You know, when you tell somebody, oh, you're going to be a martial arts instructor, they're like, oh, that would be such a great life. You know, I get to sleep till 9. I get to chill in the morning and watch the Today Show or whatever we want to watch, right? I get to work out every single day, and then I come in and I get to teach martial arts, empower people's lives. But over about 3.5 weeks, that becomes a job just like everything else. Now, and staff members forget that until they decide, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And then they go out back into what I call the real world, and then they come back knocking, okay? That happens often. But the key thing here is training your staff members extremely well. That is one sign of when to move from one of these levels to another level, when you have the right people and you have them trained.